Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. And happy birthday to our sixth spiritual head, Konko-sama, Reverend Hiromichi Konko, up at the headquarters. We wish you a wonderful birthday and long life and happiness and blessings. Thank you. Thank you always for your goyo. So this morning, Reverend Yasuhiro Yano, our head minister, and Reiko Yano Sensei, they are out performing the celebration of life ceremony for the late Mr. Hugh Noguchi. And as you may know, Mr. Hugh Noguchi was a longtime church member. He was third generation Konko member. So it started out from his grandparents, Mr. Tama and Tama Noguchi and Sojo Noguchi. So he's third generation. And he passed away on April 28th this year at the age of 71. So he would come to the church at least once a month, and he would stand in the back, even if we offered for to sit down, but he'd just stand in the back and just quietly watch the services and follow along. He was a really quiet man who mostly kept to himself. He stood firm in his own way of practicing faith, which was, I believe, was handed down by his mother, who would come every Sunday, Mrs. Edith Noguchi, and she would like sit right where Clayton is sitting. I remember when I was younger, Mrs. Noguchi, Mr. Noguchi, I mean, Hugh, the one over here. Hugh would chauffeur his mother as she became a little bit older and she couldn't drive no more, to the church and to just drop her off. And he would just stand outside just until the church services were over. But oftentimes, his mother would go out the door and yell at him and said, "You! Get inside! Get in the church!" And he would like reluctantly come into the church because the mom told him to and follow along the services. Later, when both of his parents passed away, he began to come to church on his own, actually. And whenever it was his birthday, he would come to the church to give thanks for his birthday. And of course, before heading out to his favorite destination, which was Las Vegas, he would come to the church and to pray for a safe trip. And after, when he would come back to the church in person, give thanks to Otoroke for the safe, fun time he had at Las Vegas. So he would complete the circle of prayer. And I believe his faith in Kami-sama was very sincere. I never expected him to leave this soon because the last time we saw him was at the New Year's Day service, and I thought we'd see him again. But that was the last time. So he was truly, again, a man of few words. But there's one memory that stayed with me all these years, and it was a time when I was in middle school, in intermediate school, when the military was conducting the training at the East Range, and I guess the wind carried the tear gas to Wahiawa, and then the tear gas smell would like permeate the Wahiawa intermediate grounds that morning. And then I remember the students' eyes were burning, they were coughing, they had trouble breathing, and they didn't know what it was at first. So like I remember the hazmat team came, news crew came, they were interviewing some students, and later it turned out to be tear gas. So thankfully it wasn't nothing too crazy. But later, I guess when he watched the news, he called the church, and simply to make sure I was okay, because he knew that I was attending the Wahiawa Intermediate School. And that was it. It was just a simple phone call. But that simple act told me something about who he truly was. He cared. Sometimes we think faith is measured by how much we say or how visible we are. We think the loudest prayer, the longest testimony, or the most public act is what makes Kami-sama happy. But maybe in the eyes of Kami-sama, faith isn't measured that way at all. Sometimes faith is just to quietly show up. Sometimes faith is remembering to give thanks on your birthday. Sometimes faith is stopping by before a trip to pray for safe travels and returning afterwards to express gratitude. Sometimes faith is making one phone call to make sure someone else is okay. On my recent flight to Japan, I was watching the in-flight movies, anime movie called Scarlet. It's a really good movie. And this one line, this one quote in there, it kind of stayed with me. And it said, human words mean nothing to Kami. Kami communicates through feelings and what's in our hearts. So whether or not those words come from our faith tradition or not, I found out that they express something very, very true. Kami-sama is not simply listening to the words that come out of our mouths. Kami-sama sees the feelings that fill our hearts. So our actions reveal what words sometimes cannot. Sometimes it's very subconscious. And what we do, we're not even thinking. Sometimes our actions, and we don't even know that we're doing this, hurts people's feelings. But a grateful heart is shown by giving thanks. A caring heart is shown by reaching out. A faithful heart is shown by quietly living one's faith day after day, and I think that's what Hugh did most best. And as the late Reverend Yoshiaki Fukuda, the founding minister of the Konko Church of San Francisco, said in his book of Live with Faith, he said, faith is expressed in the way we talk, the way we walk, the way we smile, the way we laugh. So again, Hugh may not have spoken much words, but his actions spoke for him. And his quiet faith, his gratitude, and his simple acts of kindness revealed what was in his heart. And I think Kami-sama really appreciated that. So as we remember Mr. Hugh Noguchi today, we can ask ourselves, what is my heart showing to Kami-sama today? I hope that we can continue to cultivate hearts filled with gratitude, kindness, and sincerity. And I hope our faith is not only spoken, but lived. And I hope that our actions can become the language through which Kami-sama sees what is truly in our hearts. Again, thank you for listening, and hope you enjoy another wonderful week. And let's continue to keep Mr. Hugh Noguchi in our hearts. Thank you. Okay. Oh, okay. Page 150. Yamamoto Sada.
Okay. Yamamoto Sadajiro. Number 1, after giving birth to my younger brother Ihei in the spring of 1864, my mother Shima couldn't walk due to women's sickness. My father Tokujiro went to Konko-sama's Hiromai in Otani and prayed.
Konko-sama told him, your family is being irreverent. Your house faces the south, a warehouse is in the northwest, and a longhouse is in the west. Toward the east, there's a cliff which curves after passing the house. At the curve of the cliff, there's an outhouse. Impure articles are being washed in the shade of this outhouse. This time you have buried and reburied the afterbirth 3 times in different directions.
Really
We check the lunar calendar and wait for Konjin's absence from a certain direction. They say that in an emergency, your next door neighbor waiting for your neighbor's absence to do something will cause disharmony. From now on, we form your heart so that your prayer to Konjin, start practicing faith, then your mother will recover. My mother recovered completely just as Konko-sama had said, but after that my father stopped practicing faith. He stopped going to worship, fearing rumors of Konko-sama's being an evil badger.
On February 9, 1876, I went to the Hiramai for the first time. I continued going to worship, received teachings, and every day, even my faith. Konko-sama noticed my frequent attendance. He imparted, "It's all right to come to worship often, but your faith mustn't trouble your parents. Before coming to worship, take care of the work to be done, and don't trouble your parents to make a walk slum for you. Or then start going to worship without taking an extra."
From 1878, Konko-sama began to call me the follower of Inagi. I acquired Konko-sama when my father first came to worship in 1864 to pray for my mother's illness. You told him about our house, the road, and the directions they were in. Everything you said was true. I was a child when my father told me this, but I was amazed. You knew everything so well, even from 19 kilometers away. Can you hear my request from afar? Konko-sama answered. Tenchi no Kami-sama protects the entire world by watching through heaven and earth. We live in between two mirrors. When I close my eyes and pray, I become able to see all the surroundings of the person's home. When I reveal what I see, I am told that I'm not the least bit wrong. Cast aside your physical eyes and open and see through your mind's eye. You are a human, and I am a human. We both have received the same Mitama soul from the same Tenchi no Kami. So let us practice faith and receive divine virtue. Even though you don't come to worship, Inagi and Otani belong to the same universe. If you don't pray by yourself and receive divine blessings, it will be too late. Come to worship while in good health and receive divine blessings. When you suffer from sickness or misfortune, pray to Tenchi no Kami and Konko-sama for help. Pray wherever you are, in the mountains, in rice paddies, on the ocean, on the river, or on the road. You have to receive blessings on the spot. Otherwise, it will be too late to relieve your suffering. This Hiramai is the only thing that is far away. Tenchi no Kami knows no distance. He is neither far nor near nor far. People are a microcosm. Tenchi no Kami-sama protects your head at all times. Thus, he can use your body at will. The results of practicing faith and working are the same. If you keep practicing faith, divine virtue and divine blessings will increase with each day. On the other hand, if your heart becomes lazy and you become conceited, your divine blessings will decrease.